On this episode of UMTV News, a fragile ceasefire has been holding on in the Middle East, but the terms may not stand for long.
Plus, the government shutdown continues in its second month, marking a historic setback.
And later on, a former NFL star has died after being arrested.
All these stories and more on today's show.
UMTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of UMTV News. I'm Taryn Jacobs.
And I'm Delaney Haddad. Thank you for joining us. It's been almost 2 weeks since the Israel and Hamas ceasefire went into effect, and it is holding up. But tensions are still lingering after each side accused the other of violating the terms. The first phase of the 20-point plan calls for the release of all Israeli hostages. So far, 13 of the deceased hostages have been released as part of the truce, but 15 others are missing underneath the rubble, according to Hamas. Humanitarian aid continues to enter Gaza. However, Israeli officials are threatening to slow the aid in retaliation to the slow release. Vice President J.D. Vance arrived in Israel today to assess the state of the ceasefire and says that the progress is better than expected.
Look, right now, I feel very optimistic. Can I say with 100% certainty that it's going to work? No. But you don't do difficult things by only doing what's 100% certain. You do difficult things by trying, and that's what the President of the United States has asked us to do.
Vance is expected to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu tomorrow to push towards the second phase of talks.
French authorities are searching for the thieves behind a brazen jewelry heist at the Louvre in Paris. Investigators say the thieves struck in broad daylight, hitting the Louvre's Apollo Gallery, home to France's crown jewels. It happened just minutes after the museum opened on Sunday. Authorities say the crew used a freight elevator on a truck to break in through a window, then took off on motorcycles. The Louvre, the world's most visited museum, was evacuated and remains closed as police search for the suspects. 2 pieces have been recovered, including the crown of Empress Eugenie.
3 weeks into the federal government shutdown and no end is in sight. Lawmakers cannot agree on whether a stopgap spending plan should keep healthcare costs from rising. In fact, they cannot even agree on whether to negotiate. And now the shutdown is reaching an infamous historic milestone.
We need to end the shutdown.
At 21 days, the government shutdown is now tied for the second longest in U.S. history. Democrats say they want a funding bill that addresses Medicaid cuts and expiring Obamacare subsidies.
Tens of millions of Americans are about to experience dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles.
Republicans say they won't discuss that until Democrats pass their funding bill with no changes.
What exactly is there to negotiate?
This shutdown ties one 30 years ago, when congressional Republicans gave up about half the Medicare cuts they wanted in return for a balanced budget.
Newt Gingrich shut down the government in 1995 because he wanted Clinton to cut Medicare. Clinton wouldn't do it.
We didn't let the fighting stop the negotiating. We also didn't let the negotiating stop the fighting.
The longest shutdown ever remains the one during President Donald Trump's first term. It holds the record of 35 days after Democrats refused to pay for a border wall.
Whatever it takes. I mean, we're going to have a wall.
He didn't get it. And when air traffic controllers started not showing up to work, the Republicans buckled on that.
Unions say this shutdown is hard on air traffic controllers, too. Pre-existing staff shortages have many working overtime, now without pay.
You're allowing outside stress to work its way into the control room.
Over the past 9 months, the Trump administration has slashed government spending and let go of many federal workers. Officials state that they are using the shutdown to identify non-essential workers who could be permanently let go.
Some 7 million Americans took to the streets nationwide on October 18th for the No Kings protests. And in Miami, more than 4,000 people gathered in Bayfront Park to participate. This is the second round of demonstrations against the Trump administration since June. Organizers say the goal is to oppose what they call Trump's authoritarian agenda. This includes the president's push to deploy National Guard troops and increase immigration raids in several U.S. cities. Some Republican leaders have labeled the demonstrations as anti-American. House Speaker Mike Johnson says they were a publicity stunt for Democrats.
Now that Democrats have had their protest and publicity stunts, I just pray that they come to their senses and end this shutdown and reopen the government this week. Republicans are waiting, the American people are waiting, and we are ready to act.
But organizers say they are planning peaceful demonstrations that provide a clear contrast to the Trump administration's recent use of force.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced that the U.S. military attacked another boat that officials believe was involved in drug trafficking. Hegseth said 3 men on the boat died in the airstrike. The attack happened on Friday. Hegseth said the boat was affiliated with a terror group in Colombia and had substantial amounts of drugs on board. This is the 7th known strike the U.S. military has carried out against suspected drug smugglers in the Caribbean. The Trump administration has stepped up its efforts in recent weeks to stop illegal drugs like fentanyl from reaching the United States. But some members of Congress have criticized the military's actions. They say the Trump administration policy is illegal and should stop.
Thousands of music lovers filled Miami's neighborhood of Wynwood this past weekend for the annual 3 Points Festival, a celebration of art, culture, and music. But while festival season can bring excitement, it can also raise safety concerns. Emmeline Smith joins us live to show us how the University of Miami is helping students stay informed and safe with Miami Music Week right around the corner. Emmeline?
Taryn, I had the chance to sit down with the Sandler Center, whose goal is not known for its electric mix of art, music, and culture. 3 Points is one of Miami's most anticipated festivals. But as the crowds pour in, so do concerns about drug use, especially substances like Molly and other party drugs. Leading up to the festival, the University of Miami Sandler Center worked to educate students about the risks of drug use.
So the major risk is you don't always know what's in the Molly, for example. So it can be laced with fentanyl or another drug, which makes the risk for overdose even higher.
In addition to offering education, they offer harm reduction tools for those who choose to attend. Located on the 2nd floor of the Whitten Learning Center, students are able to pick up their own free safety kits and take them home to prepare for festivals. Items inside these kits include Narcan, fentanyl testing strips, drink covers, date rape detectors, and CPR responder kits. Their goal isn't to promote drug use, but to keep students safe if they find themselves in a risky situation.
So Narcan is super helpful in being able to temporarily reverse an overdose, giving you more time for help to arrive. And it's important for all festival goers to be able to have Narcan on them because an overdose can happen at any time, anywhere.
As Miami heads into another busy music season with Miami Music Week just months away, the Sandler Center hopes students continue to use the resources available to keep every celebration safe. Three Points may have come and gone, but the message remains the same. Stay safe, enjoy the music, and look out for those around you. Reporting live from Coral Gables, I'm Emmeline Smith, UMTV News.
Thank you, Emmeline. Coming up on UMTV News, the University of Miami turns up the volume for the Centennial Homecoming performance. We will take you behind the scenes. And we'll tell you how one biannual event in Coral Gables brings a unique and historical flair to the Gables. This after a short break.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
Former All-Pro NFL running back Doug Martin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has died in police custody. Oakland, California police say Martin died after a struggle with officers who were trying to arrest him on Saturday. They were investigating a home break-in at the time. A cause of death has not been released. Martin played 6 seasons with the Buccaneers. He went on to play with the Oakland Raiders in 2018. Martin was 36 years old.
Homecoming week is right around the corner for the University of Miami, and that means a week of many exciting events. One of the biggest events each year is the Homecoming Concert, which is a long-standing tradition. This year's concert is featuring rapper A Boogie with a hoodie, and HP works with a high budget to put towards talent, staging, lighting, and more. Junior Michael Maziah serves as hospitality chair for the organization that puts together the event. He says this is one of the highest budget events he has been a part of during his time with HP.
Right now we're in the process of making sure everything is ready for his dressing rooms. So we're ordering a lot of stuff on Amazon, and if food needs to be delivered, we're going to coordinate that. So right now that's what I'm doing a lot of, so just making sure all of his 4 dressing rooms are ready to go.
Homecoming celebrations will continue to recognize Centennial Year. The concert is set to take place at the Watsco Center on Thursday, November 4th at 7:30 p.m.
The city of Coral Gables throws events for the public on a daily basis, but one event only comes to town twice per year. Chris Perez is live to tell us more about the event that mixes history with vintage. Chris?
Delaney, the city of Coral Gables held its semi-annual Coral Market last week, with vendors from all across the state of Florida coming to sell both unique and antique items to shoppers against the backdrop of one of the city's oldest and most important houses. The Coral Market sets up its stalls twice a year on the historic lawn of the Merrick House, the 1920s home of Coral Gables founder George Merrick. The event blends local history with modern vintage treasure hunting.
Yeah, Merrick House is the heart of Coral Gables. You know, it's the house that was created by George Merrick and really founded what Coral Gables and the City Beautiful is all about.
Throughout the day, the Merrick House offers tours, letting visitors see the founder's original furniture and architecture, from ornate dining rooms to family portraits.
Yeah, and that's the wonderful part of it, is that it's such a beautiful background, you know, and it fits the vintage and antique market perfectly.
Out on the lawn, the marketplace was bustling, with shoppers browsing unique finds, grabbing specialty coffee, and enjoying the relaxed atmosphere.
We're really, really lucky with the support of the community and all the fabulous vendors that we have.
Vendors traveled from across the region, filling the stalls with everything from classic country French decor to vinyl records and unique handmade jewelry.
I wasn't sure because I've never sold in Miami before, but I just brought the things that I normally sell, and I've been doing very well.
The event also serves as a local hub for community groups, including a booth set up for the University of Miami Women's Cancer Association, showing the market's support for local causes.
The organizers here have tons of other booths. They've got a lot of other people going. So I can't imagine what it takes to organize something like this and how important it is in the community to let people know the other things that are going on.
That commitment to running a well-organized event is fueled by the founder's passion for vintage and small business.
It's truly for the love of vintage. Vintage is a labor of love. Having a small business is a labor of love. Putting on a market is a labor of love. And I do it because I see everybody congregating here at the market, getting new treasures, adding to their home story.
The Coral Market will return to the Merrick House next year, bringing new treasures and community spirit back to Coral Gables. The organizers tell me there are even bigger plans for the next market, with even more vendors and shoppers in the spring. Reporting live for UMTV News, I'm Chris Perez.
Thank you, Chris. And Taryn, you know, this has been kind of fun for me being on this side of the camera.
Definitely fun. Maybe one day, Sports Desk executive producers will take the desk on a Sports Desk show.
Totally. Well, that's all the time we have today for UMTV News. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you back next week, same time, same place. Have a great day.